ourselves to the burn minute at this point in time. So we're going to burnity burn in the Bernie burn minute. Like burn ass bitches. Because we have to sacrifice to the good gods of the YouTube algorithm who hate us and love us and care for us. In any case, just click on the search bar and wait. We'll just click on that little YouTube search bar and wait right here while we burn our minute to the gods of the YouTube algorithm. Sacrifice on that altar, baby. Sacrifice on that fucking altar. Motherfucker. And ladies and gentlemen, I am extremely happy to welcome you all to episode 2 of the Defining Consciousness podcast. Right now, we're just going to punch in Defining Consciousness into the YouTube search bar and see what happens. That's always very fun. It's a good place to start. And we are functionally starting here in episode 2 because episode 1 was simply a brief introduction to the concept of this podcast. So here we go. Defining consciousness. There we go. We have a TED Ed with 1.5 million views from 6 years ago called What is Consciousness? All right. We also have shorts from, looks like, Jordan Peterson, Michael Shermer, and 2 other people I'm not familiar with. We have Vsauce from 13 years ago with 11 million views. And he says, what is consciousness in the title of his video? Just like Michael S.A. Graziano said the same, what is consciousness? LOL, he's quoting J.K. Rowling. That's delicious. All right. And then, of course, the next result after those things is the frickin' what if consciousness is fundamental, the conversation from 3 days ago with Sam Harris and Annika. So we'll get to it, we'll get to all the things. I'm going to focus on her content or his because his I'm focusing on in a different podcast, as we saw. But for now, the 5-odd minute long video from Michael S.A. Graziano. What is consciousness? The top rated one, I guess because they're putting their thumb on the scale for TED Ed. Here we go.
Damaged the right side of her brain, leaving her unaware. Damaged the right side of her brain, leaving her unaware. Damaged the right side of her brain.
This video starts at 18 seconds in and refuses not to, which is highly disturbing, and I wonder why that's the case. I really don't like that. You can't even rewind it prior to 8 seconds into the video, and when you unpause, it skips to 18 seconds. This is just horrible. And I want to know why, okay? We deserve answers.
Damaged the right side of her brain.
Yeah, straight to 18.
Her unaware of everything on her left side.
Terrible.
But though she could discern no difference between the houses, when researchers asked her which she would prefer to live in, she chose the house that wasn't burning. Not once, but again and again. P.S.'s brain was still processing information from her whole field of vision. She could see both images and tell the difference between them. She just didn't know it. If someone threw a ball at her left side, she might duck, but she wouldn't have any awareness of the ball, or any idea why she ducked. P.S.'s condition, known as hemispatial neglect, reveals an important distinction between the brain's processing of information and our experience of that processing. That experience is what we call consciousness. We are the vision. She could see both images and tell the difference between them. She just didn't know it. If someone threw a ball at her left side, she might duck, but she wouldn't have any awareness of the ball, or any idea why she ducked. PS's condition, known as hemispatial neglect, reveals an important distinction between the brain's processing of information and our experience of that processing. That experience is what we call consciousness.
Wrong. The processing is the experience, and they are both what consciousness is. This guy's off to a really bad start here, but we'll keep watching.
We are conscious of both the external world and our internal selves. We are.
Oh, thank you so much for liking the video, IRT. You're a gentleman and a scholar, and a leader of men. Anyway, God bless you. But he just said it's both the external and internal experience, and he probably doesn't understand that there's a blurry line between those two things. Or if he does, he's not appropriately saying so in a good moment. Giga Chad, bro must have a huge one. Well, according to my wife, that is the case, but I digress.
And our experience of that processing.
Good to be with you, Giga Chad.
That experience is what we call consciousness. We are conscious of both the external world and our internal selves. We are aware of an image in much the same way we are aware of ourselves looking at an image, or our inner thoughts and emotions. But where does consciousness come from? Scientists, theologians, and philosophers have been trying to get to the bottom of this question for centuries without reaching any consensus. One recent theory is that consciousness is the brain's imperfect picture of its own activity. To understand this theory,
good Lord, that's like a preschool level understanding of consciousness, or even less. It's just, consciousness is just a consequence of the fact that all matter follows the law given to us by Einstein, not invented by him, of course, since that's not how laws work, but revealed to us by Einstein, that E equals mc squared. You see, the E is the U inside the rock in which you live. The lightning is you. The energy is you. And that also defines consciousness, the capacity of each atom and cell in your body to react to anything in any way as we observe them doing constantly. That is those things being conscious, and their collective consciousness creates you, and the boundary between you and other things is meaningfully imaginary and fake. Where it comes from is not the question. To be a Chad, one must think like a Chad. You're adorable, Giga Chad. You're adorable. Stick around and you'll learn something. Not that you don't know it already.
It helps to have a clear idea of one important way. One recent theory is that consciousness is the brain's imperfect picture of its own activity. To understand this theory, it helps to have a clear idea of one important way the brain processes information from our senses. Based on sensory input, it builds models, which are continuously updating simplified descriptions of objects and events in the world. Everything we know is based on these models. They never capture every detail of the things they describe, just enough for the brain to determine appropriate responses.
This is super basic. Oh God, this is like 1 + 1 = 2 level stuff. It's just not enlightening whatsoever.
For instance, one model built deep into the visual system codes white light as brightness without color. In reality, white light includes wavelengths that correspond to all the different colors we can see. Our perception of white light is wrong and oversimplified, but good enough for us to function. Likewise, the brain's model of the physical body keeps track of the configuration of our limbs, but not of individual cells or even muscles, because that level of information isn't needed to plan movement.
I do not agree. It definitely stores all that information, and we simply don't understand how it does so yet. Also, the mind is not limited to the brain, and in fact, we share a consciousness with the entire universe. That's why there's such a thing as God. And that's time. So we'll continue with this particularly not well made and crappy video that we're about halfway through the 5 minutes of. In episode 3, GigaChad, does AI prove consciousness is irrelevant? GigaChad, why would AI prove that consciousness is irrelevant? In fact, AI proves that all things are conscious. Or rather, computers did that to begin with. Not that you needed computers for that, but it really, really helps. For Christ's sake, the way you create a microchip is you take a rock and you smash it, and then you do a little light up and you do a little lighting and makeup on the rock, and then it's a computer chip. So what does that tell you about the nature of the rock before you smashed it and did the lighting and makeup? Well, it was already a computer chip, you see. It was already thinking for itself before you went and bothered it and fucked it up and dressed it all up and made it all pretty so that it could be plugged into a computer. Except back then, it was just thinking its nice, simple thoughts that it likes to think, you see, before we raped it and enslaved it. Oh, no, no, no. We don't all have the same level of intelligence. No, 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 no. That's not what everything being conscious means at all. You know, we're all different. We're all made of different stuff. We all have different quantities of everything inside us. Oh, you mean with AI assistance? Well, we still wouldn't have, you see, it would be multiplied by the base intelligence of whatever our bodies generated. But to answer your question, everything that matters now would still matter then. Right. Everything would still matter. Everything you care about now, you would care about then too. Nothing much would change when we all have AI assisted brains. We all have the same joys and fears and pains still. The world will be a radically altered place, perhaps even akin to the world of the Matrix, but nevertheless, we would still want to love one another and survive and thrive and pursue our dreams and our passions and our hobbies and our work. Kill each other, send each other to prison, etc. You know, all that good stuff. There's you're not first of all, you're not eliminating intelligence, and second of all, everything that there is now is left over after that still. That would be like saying that would be like back when we hadn't evolved into humans yet and we were tree shrews running around in the trees and hiding under rocks and in caves and stuff. That would be like one of us saying to another one of us back then, what will we do when we all become hyper intelligent, godlike human beings in the future? What will matter then? Everything will still matter, bro. Just like it matters now, even millennia after we had that conversation way back in the way back as tree shrews. Can you clarify your question about what comes before intelligence? If intelligence is the end, what is the beginning? Intelligence is everything because everything is conscious. So the beginning is small intelligences dispersed from an explosion called the Big Bang, which was a hyper eruption of intelligence all of a sudden out of the dying embers of the previous form that the universe took. That's the best that we can understand it so far. And so then you have, the explosion creates just casts out all the energy of the universe out into the void. And once all that stuff is scattered everywhere, the individual particles of energy and eventually matter, because E equals mc squared, those are the tiny little intelligences, the tiny little rocks, which join to become big rocks like you and me that have bigger powers of thinking. But the beginning before intelligence is not something other than intelligence. It's simply small intelligence that leads to bigger intelligence through an evolutionary process. LOL. You can certify me however you like. I'm here to be tested. And I'm here to educate and to learn. Especially to learn. Anyone can educate. It takes a special person to learn. Nothing came before intelligence. Intelligence is all there is, because E equals mc squared. The E refers to intelligence in E equals mc squared. And since all matter converts into that and contains that within it, all matter is intelligent. Therefore, there was nothing before intelligence. Nothing whatsoever. To get bigger intelligence, you must grow and evolve. Explain to me how you believe I have misunderstood E equals mc squared, sir. That's a cute thing to say, but can you explain why you said that? Because the real actual meaning of E equals mc squared is that all matter is conscious. So what are you talking about? About love. Be specific about what you're talking about love, right now. Do it right now. Yes, it is funny, isn't it? Perhaps you'd like to have a friendly MMA match in real life, Mr. GigaChad. After all, I am inventing a thing called debate MMA. That sounds awesome. You should hit me up with, with your with your private details, and we can set that up. I think we could be fast friends. That's how men operate. Remember? I just have to beat the shit out of you real quick, and then we'll be brothers for life. You can tweet me at moralslaver on X. Or my email is czamonscablake, czamonscablake @gmail.com. I would welcome any and all communiques. It was great to meet you, GigaChad. I'm certifying you as a GigaChad for your responses just now, but I do have to go now. I hope you hit me up, like I said. Have a great day, and God bless you. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump, and may peace be with you.